Welcome to the Mason Guard Show. Unscripted, uncensored, unapologetic. Hello, Internet. Welcome to the Mason Guard Show. I'm Scott Mason.
And I'm Ed Guard.
And we are back this month once again to fill you in on what is coming to Netflix this month and what is leaving Netflix this month. No need to sit and stare at your list for hours upon end. We're going to tell you what is worth watching this month on everyone's favorite streaming service, Netflix.
I feel like I'm seeing on my social media every couple of days, what should I watch on Netflix? That's why we're doing this, just so you can listen to this at the beginning of the month and not worry about putting out those posts asking what to watch. You can just listen to us and we'll tell you what to watch.
We'll take care of you. All right, Ed, why don't you jump right in what is coming at the beginning of the month right away on October the 1st?
Well, again, we're not going to go through absolutely everything. We just want to call out what we think is worthwhile. And on the 1st, there's actually the second season of the animated series Carmen Sandiego. Now, if you're like me, you probably watched the game show when you're a kid.
Loved the game show.
Now, this is super highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes, 93%, 8 out of 10 on IMDb. The first season got a great rating. I think it's probably worth the watch as an animated series. I'm going to give it a try. I'll have to catch up because I haven't watched the first season yet. And that really is what I saw for the first. There was also something called AMI, which is basically a horror thriller, pretty low rated, and a new show called Agent. I actually searched the show out and could not find a damn thing on it, so I have no idea whether or not it's going to be any good. And then, of course, there's Seven coming out with Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey. It's definitely something worth watching. If you haven't seen it, classic film. What's in the box and all that.
What's in the box?
There's also Contagion coming out. A huge group of stars in that one. Matt Damon, Kate Winslet, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, Lawrence Fishburne. Highly rated, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is like one of your typical plague movies.
Crazy cast.
Yeah, absolutely. And a really good watch from what I remember. I think I saw this when it came out, but I'll probably watch it again. And lastly, on the 1st, there's also Boondock Saints 2.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day. Now, not one of my favorite of the sequels, but if you love Boondock Saints, you'll probably give this one a watch as well.
Probably enjoyable, yeah. Absolutely. All right, let's move on now. October 2nd, we have a movie I used to watch as a kid called Batteries Not Included. It's like a discount short circuit kind of movie with Jessica Tandy in it. So, like, it's, old people with mechanical alien robots. It's fantastic.
You know what? This one sounded super familiar to me. I actually looked it up to see if it's something I had seen. I don't think I ever saw this one.
I did as a kid. Certainly I watched that one. We also have Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. Of course, I think most people kind of know that movie. It's pretty famous. Fried Green Tomatoes. Elizabeth, starring Cate Blanchett, which was fantastic. And the one I'm probably most looking forward to is Liar, Liar, one of Jim Carrey's absolute
one
best.
of my absolute favorite, and The Claw.
The Claw!
I don't know if that's like a Canadian thing or what that is. I remember my dad used to do that to me as a kid.
Really? The Claw?
Yeah, when I saw this in the movie, I'm like, oh my god, someone else knows what this is. Yeah,
that's amazing. No, I don't think that's a thing, so I think
it really
that's
is.
Wow,
It
that's
is.
amazing.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Someone came up with that.
I like it. All right, Ed, what's up next?
The next one I want to go to is releasing on October 4th. That's actually District 9. Now, this one is a South African film, super highly rated online as well, 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. This one is a story about aliens coming to Earth as basically refugees, and it jumps 30 years into the future of how they're treated, and they're really treated poorly. It's a very unusual story. I know that people are hit and miss on this one.
It's very much, I mean, it's meant to be an allegory for the South African apartheid and stuff like that. I don't enjoy this movie. I just feel it's totally inconsistent. I wanted to like it. I really went in excited and hyped for this movie. Didn't enjoy it. Decided to give it another try about 2-3 years later. Still couldn't get into it. So it's just not for me, but I get that there's a lot of people out there who love that movie.
Yeah, so Charlotte Copley is the guy's name.
You're going to try that name,
yeah,
eh?
I was going to try. He's the main star of this movie. I think he does a really great job. He actually went to go on to do another show called, I think it was called Powers. He actually plays sort of a superhero who lost his powers and became a police officer. I've never found anyone else who've watched this show.
Not me.
I'd love to discuss it with somebody. If you've heard about it, please let me know. But yeah, that was basically it for that movie. There's also another Stephen King film coming out. It's called In the Tall Grass. It's sort of a thriller horror. The premise of the movie looks really strange. Basically, two teenagers, get lost in the tall grass and something horrible's in there. I really couldn't get a feel of what it was about.
With Stephen King movies, it's always a hit or miss. There are some absolutely amazing ones out there, like Shawshank Redemption or Stand By Me, but then you also have the thinners of the world.
Yeah. Also on the 4th, we have Peaky Blinders season 5 coming out.
Great show.
Now this one's on my list to watch. I've heard such great things about it. Cillian Murphy is the star of this one. He's super intense. So
he's an underrated actor, I think,
Absolutely.
honestly, in this day and age. And yeah, I watched the first season and a half of that show. I got really into it, actually, but that was before I could find it anywhere to stream. So actually, this is a good reminder to get right back into that show. It's great.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a try. I'm coming to the end of Arrested Development, so I've got some room in my schedule. Also, I wanted to point out, any of you who have small children, Super Monster Season 3 is coming. My 2-year-old is a big fan, so this is going to give me at least an hour and a half of downtime. So I'm looking forward to that.
Also on the 4th, I know this is a big popular show with many female viewers out there. Outlander Season 4 is coming on October 4th as well, and I've just heard that is a well-regarded show. I haven't watched it, but it's about a woman who time travels, I think.
So I get the impression this is kind of high budget too.
Yeah,
and not something I've ever watched. I don't know why in my head I think it's a little musically.
I don't know about that. Again,
I'm not sure.
Never seen an episode of the show. I've just talked to a few people who really do enjoy it, so I wanted to call that one out.
Absolutely. So stuff to watch. I mean, moving on to October 5th, we have Despicable 3 or Despicable Me number 3.
There you go.
Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, Julie Anderson,
and more minions than you could ever handle.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the direction it went at that point. I think it's still a laugh. Little kids are gonna love it, so it's just something to call out for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on from there, October 7th, Justice League is going to be added. So for those of you who are fans of the DC EU, this is your time now to kind of see that big pinnacle movie. I haven't seen it because I couldn't even make it through Batman v Superman. But I honestly do want to give this one a try because I think this is where there could actually be some interesting stuff happening. So we've got that on October 9th. The new Emmy winner Schitt's Creek is having season 5 coming, which of course features Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, some SCTV alumni who are two of the funniest people on the planet. And then let's see, October 10th, we have Riverdale Season 4. My girlfriend will be very excited to see the return of Riverdale coming.
So I watched the first couple episodes of this show and just couldn't get into it. I know that a lot of people really love it, but it just seemed so unusual.
It's real heavy-handed melodrama for, like teenage problems. I can see the appeal. I absolutely do get it. I'll tune in just to watch Skeet Ulrich be acting again. That's a whole other story. But yeah, no, a lot of people do like that show. I see there certainly is value to it, but just not for me.
I just can't understand what happened to Archie. Like, what went so wrong?
No, what happened to Jughead? That's the question you really want to ask.
Okay, then moving on to the 11th, we've got El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. I don't know about you. This. Yeah, I'm absolutely pumped about this. Vince Gilligan is coming back to direct this. He directed obviously the Breaking Bad series. He was involved with Better Call Saul. He also did a couple episodes of The X-Files, like the original ones.
I didn't know that.
I don't know what episodes he did exactly. I'd be interested to see those. Go back and watch those ones because they're probably pretty good. I think he did about 5 episodes of that.
Probably, yeah. And honestly, I'm just excited for this because this is the story of what happens to Jesse after the events of Breaking Bad. I mean, I'm sold just on that alone. So yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, there's also Fractured is a Netflix original movie coming out. Netflix content sometimes is amazing, sometimes it's not. So it's hard to tell. So I'll probably throw that one on and see if it's any good.
Absolutely. October 15th is a date that you're definitely going to want to mark in your calendars. There are going to be two absolute pinnacles of filmmaking being added. The first one is, of course, the iconic Citizen Kane, known for just revolutionizing film. If you honestly don't know the story of Citizen Kane, it's worth reading before you watch the movie, and you'll see how many new film techniques that were developed. And then the second one, of course, is the pinnacle of filmmaking, Dennis the Menace. All right, I can't really hold too much there, but I had to put that in there. Honestly, though, seriously, watch Citizen Kane. I love that movie, and I have to recommend that to everyone I see.
That's the mess. Okay, moving on the 18th, Suits season 8 is coming out. I know a lot of people love this show. A lot of people aren't big fans. My wife loves it. I just assume she loves Harvey Specter. That's fine.
He's a handsome man.
He's a handsome man. Also, season 9 of Suits just finished. It's the end of the show. That's the end of the show, That's right. They're moving on, but it actually comes to a good summary. My wife actually said she really enjoyed the end of season 9 and she's up to date. But if you have stuck it out with the Suits and you're looking to close out that experience in your life, might as well watch season 8 and season 9 and move on. That was it for the 18th, I think. We also had on the 23rd, I want to call out Ant-Man with Michael Douglas and Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly, I believe her name is.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely another Marvel movie.
I'm surprised Marvel movies are still being added, knowing that Disney Plus, we've got to be within the next couple of months getting Disney Plus coming.
I thought it was in October it was expected.
Originally announced, yeah.
But I don't know that it's going to hit the market at that point.
Ant-Man's just great.
Ant-Man's a great film, actually. The first one, anyways, is really good. Also on the 23rd, for those Kung Fu fans like myself, you've got Master Z, which is the Ip Man legacy. If you haven't seen the Ip Man movies, I think this is the 4th or maybe even 5th one of them. Great Kung Fu movies. This is actually a spin-off from Ip Man 3, but definitely going to be interesting. Super highly rated, 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Ooh, nice. And it has Tony Jaa in it, so there's going to be some crazy Kung Fu acrobatics that are worth watching.
Anytime you see Tony Jaa, absolutely. All right, and then I think to round out the list, I've got on October 25th a great little Canadian show that's just an enjoyable little sitcom. It's called Working Moms, and season 3 is going to be added on October 25th. Check it out. It's a charming little show, and I think there's a lot for everyone to enjoy. Now, of course, we get to the sad part of our show where we talk about the shows that are going to be leaving Netflix this month, and man, are there some great movies that are going to be leaving. So now is your chance to check them out. Ed, why don't you tell them probably about the saddest one of our for us at least.
Reservoir Dogs is coming off of Netflix. If you haven't watched Reservoir Dogs recently, throw it on. It's such a great film. We've talked about it before. I don't need to get into how amazing this movie is. But Little Green Bag, come on. Watch that film. A great Tarantino classic.
Yeah, and that's October 15th that's leaving. On October the 20th is going to be your last chance to check out some very big, iconic horror movies. And, of course, with October being the month for horror, you definitely want to catch these before they leave, which is, again, October 20th. We will be losing Halloween, Scream 1, 2, and 3, and actually one of my personal favorites from the horror genre, The Cabin in the Woods. All of those, again, leaving October 20th. Highly recommend checking actually every single one of those out. There's not a bad one in the bunch.
I'm ashamed to admit I haven't watched Cabin in the Woods yet. I'm actually really looking forward to it. So I'm going to throw it on before the end of the month or before the 20th to make sure I get that one in. It's been recommended to me a bunch of times, just never got around to it. So I'm looking forward to that one. And I guess that leaves one more that's going to be leaving, and some that really love this movie, Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot is leaving. very highly rated film, a great female lead superhero movie. I watched it, really enjoyed it.
Really enjoyed that one, yeah. It has its, third act problems like a lot of superhero movies do, but I think the lead up to it is fantastic. I think Gal Gadot is fantastic. Chris Pine is so good in it. So, yeah, there's a lot to enjoy with Wonder Woman.
Absolutely. So those are our recommendations of what's coming in October for you. If there anything that we missed that you is coming out that you want to recommend, shoot a comment or an email over to us. But yeah, that's what you should be watching in October on Netflix.
All right. And of course, the one thing we also do is we call out one particular strong recommendation from each of us. I'm not going to pull from this list because I did have a show recommended to me recently that I've just started getting into. I'm only 3 episodes in, but I do want to call it out. It's called Dead to Me. It stars Christina Applegate, Linda Cardinelli, and James Marsden. Absolutely fantastic show. I've really enjoyed it so far. It's not made for the male perspective. It is very much a female-led kind of concept, but it's really quite interesting. The show starts, Christina Applegate's husband was killed in a hit-and-run accident, and she goes to this grief session where she meets Linda Cardinelli, and she talks about losing her husband. At the end of the first episode, Christina Applegate shows up at Linda Cardinelli's house and meets her husband. And then it's kind of from there. And again, I do want to call out Linda Cardinelli's performance in this so far is one of my favorite I've seen in a little while. It's really subtle and subdued, and I think she gives a fantastic performance. So again, I want to call that one out. If you're looking for something new to watch, check out Dead to Me. It's just got 1 season right now. And again, I'm only 3 episodes in, but I've really, really enjoyed what I've seen so far. All right, and we're going to lead that right up into the wrap-up, guys. Hopefully we've given you a few things to think about when you're scanning through your Netflix. We'll be back next month, of course, to bring you November's updates. But in the meantime, I've been Scott Mason.
And I've been Edgard.
And we have been The Mason Guard Show. Thank you very much for checking it out. We will see you next time.